afternoon, Dr. Candace. How are you today?
I am good. How are you? I am doing excellent today. I am doing excellent, excellent, excellent. Little lethargic, but I am doing good. Ain't nothing I can't handle. I could have stayed in bed longer, but I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. And it's so funny that you said stay in bed longer because it was just like this morning. I have been for the past few mornings been joining a woman named Tasha Kidd for a morning prayer call, right? And it's done through Zoom. And so it was myself and the 24 other women in the call this morning. And so what it was actually a 5 day challenge.
Oh,
And so it started on Monday, and the day was the last day of the challenge, right? But it was so funny because I seen everything and I just kept forgetting to hit it. Well, when I hit the link, I was 3 days late, of course, because I had so much on my plate. And the one day I know I needed it, and I should have logged on that day. I was just I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning working, and I just couldn't do it. But yesterday when I logged on, I mean, when I tell you, it filled my heart to listen to what she was talking about, all of the information. When I tell you, this sister, like I met her in New York City some
mm-hmm.
years ago. And when I tell you this is an awesome, awesome woman of God, like she really has it going on, and her group is called Girl Own It.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when I tell you that it was the prayer and power with Tasha Kidd free 5 day challenge, and it
Love
was
it.
from Monday to today for at 7 a.m.
Love
And when I tell you, it put a whole spark in me, to make me want to do, to want to do better. Number one, and number two, to level up, and always remembering to keep God first, as I've always have anyway. But it just put me in a whole nother mindset, So
good.
I was happy for that. So yeah, so that's
That's
how I started my day off.
I love that. And I'm big on owning your morning. You was owning your morning. Absolutely.
Girl,
Because I love that she's doing that because how we start our morning is how the day, it kind of affects how your day is going to go. So that's
hello,
good. I love that. That is
yep.
amazing. Hopefully she does that again. So is it, so how is the
Well,
challenge to
she
keep
added
going?
she added another week.
Good. That's
So we're
amazing.
doing it again. So we're doing it again next week.
That is amazing.
And
I
so I
love it.
just said, yeah, I said, well, it pushes you to be up because I'm up anyway. But
Hmm.
sometimes I'm on the phone, you know what I mean? Because I do have early risers that call me at like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes six or whatever, acting like it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But it's okay. It's okay because I'm up. But it's
Hmm.
just, my thing is that time in the morning, it's being able to be mindful of the energy that you're letting in,
Absolutely.
because we can put ourselves in a mindset. We put all these different, it's so easy to allow negative energy in.
It is.
So,
It
so
is.
we have to do better with that as human spirit. We have to do better than that,
We do.
so.
We do.
Yeah, and look, it
Yeah,
got me stuttering. Look, it got me stuttering trying to say what I want to say.
I know, but that's all right. I get it. And we do. You're absolutely right. We have to do better at that because a lot of times some of us let just anything in. Going with the flow is not necessarily the thing. A lot of people say, I just go with the flow. I don't want to go with the flow. I don't go with the flow. Hell no.
That part.
When you go with the flow, that means you're laying down for the program. You just laying down for anything. You just, hey, I don't go with the flow. Now, the older you get, the more you start to maneuver away from the flow. How that sound?
Sounds good.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, today we have a great show today. We have so many amazing things that we're going to talk about today. We're talking about mental health labeling. We're talking about just mental health in business. We're talking about everything. We just going to talk about a lot of stuff today. But before we get into that, do you have what you got for us today for the tea time with Tyra?
All right. right. So for Tea Time with Tyra today, the first story I want to talk about, because I have two stories and then just one uh, promotion I want to do. But the first story I would like to talk about today is the young child who had feces on their clothes at a particular daycare center out in Michigan. And the mom, was pretty upset. The whole story went viral, right? And so what I found troubling with the story was mom stated that this was the eighth incident at this child care center, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm reading this Dr. Candace. I'm like, eight. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, like, no, I gotta be reading this wrong. If you're having incidents with someone at a child care center or anywhere, okay, because this don't have to just limit with a child care center. This could be with anything that we're doing in our lives, right? Why are we getting so comfortable that we're allowing 8, 9, 10, and 12 times to happen? When things like this happen, you remove immediately.
Immediately.
It it don't take, it's not that hard. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? It's not that hard. You know what I mean? My thing is use your head for more than a hat rack. Okay,
Exactly.
at this point in life, because at the end of the day, we only got one life to live, right? And
Hmm.
doing something like that makes no sense to me. The
It's,
child care center, granted, totally at fault. I'm not going to even say that they're not. They're at fault, right? But
mhm.
at the same time, I'm gonna have to hold the mother accountable as well.
I totally agree with you. I totally
Because
agree.
when somebody does something to your child, I don't give a rat's tail what it is. If you feel that your child was wrong, you remove them from that situation.
That's right.
Now, I'm coming from, everybody that knows me knows I come from a healthcare background working in a
Hmm.
hospital, right?
Hmm.
And I remember I worked in this program and and granted the story is funny but not funny, right? So what happened was it was a child in the program and this mother accused one of my coworkers of hitting her child, right?
Hmm.
And that woman never hit any kids, right? So it was a whole ordeal, so to the point where the attorneys of the hospital had to get involved. So the
Oh.
attorneys was like, "Is the child?" And so they like, "Is the child in program still?" Yes, the child is in program. Okay, so if she hit the child, then why is the child still attending the program? That's what we like to know because and so they singing like, okay, but my thing is, if you're claiming abuse, you don't need to have your kid still coming to the place where the child was abused.
That's right.
Makes no sense.
Makes
Girl, let
none.
me tell you. So let me tell you, we had a whole transportation program, right? So we had to pick the kids up. We had drivers, van service. So I was the attendee for driving the van, right? To go help to pick the kids up. So my driver and I was instructed by management to call them when we reached the child's house. Call them and let them know that whether the child got on the van or didn't get on the van, and that if the child got on the van, they would meet us at the front door of the hospital because
Oh.
they needed to have pictures and proof. Let me tell you how, Candace. I was like, oh my goodness. So we called the hospital. I'm like, yeah, I'm texting them. I got the kid, and they like meet y'all at the back door. We pull up. Now the mediator is with them, right? Because when it's a high profile case when it comes to stuff like that, right? They
Hmm.
make sure they have mediators and everybody on guard for situations like this. And so we pull up to the back door, and I know my girl Tanisha, if she's watching this, I know she's cracking up because she remember this story like it was
Oh.
yesterday. Let me tell you, we pulled up, and so she rolled her window down. And she go, "Here he is," and and I opened the door, and the little boy got off. Now the little boy might have been no more than maybe about 3.5 feet tall,
Oh.
and he was about 7 years old, about 7, 8 years old. Yeah, about 8 years old. He was really small for his age, right? He got off the van and he's like, "How? How are you?" This is how he talking to the lawyer and to the mediator.
Wow.
And they looked at me and they said, and we abused him and he's still coming.
Yeah.
And so they're taking pictures and everything. And they reached out to the woman's attorney, the child's mother's attorney, and was like, case is closed. So she's like, well, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean? I don't want. They said, Miss, you're allowed your child to continue in this program.
Mm-hmm.
Your child, there's nothing wrong with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, sorry, but not sorry. You know, and it was just like, and I told them, I'm like, well, it's not like this is the first time she cried wolf. She cried wolf numerous times, right? But the bottom line, what that showed me was when this kid, when it comes to any kind of victimization,
Mm-hmm.
have to remove from the situation if you want to see
Immediately.
results. You can't keep
Yeah.
sending them in,
That's right.
and that's what like really upset me with that mom. 8. Now,
Yeah.
if you
Mm-hmm.
said 2 times and said one was, well, they still on the fence of what happened, whether the child bumped into somebody or if somebody hit the kid, that's one thing.
Exactly.
But you say 8, like, come on, I'm like, Lady Bob,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
when I
know.
saw that, I totally agree with you. When I saw that, I said,
Mhm.
8 times, that's too many. Now, the child is not safe. The child ain't safe with you because mom is making a bad decision sending her there. And I know some people may be watching this and saying, well, she has to work. Which is more important, going to a job and working or keeping your child safe? There's always another way. There's always another way. You find
Dr.
someone.
Candace, is 50 million, but there's 50 million other daycares out there.
Exactly. You can find another daycare because I had a situation like that with my daughter. The ones that don't know, I'm a mother, a proud mother of an amazing disabled adult, my daughter. And I had an incident with similar to that, but it wasn't abuse. It's just that she had transportation and the transportation left her when no one was home. And I can't say the name. I want to say the name so bad, but I already sued them, so I can't be saying that on here. I want to say their name on here so bad, but in case they watch this, um, and they left her. She never went back to them. She was never on their vans
Mhm.
anymore. That immediately shut that down, and then I took action. That is what you do. I didn't say, "Well, I have to work the next day, and who gonna pick her up?" It's not about us. Once you have children, you become second, especially to their safety. Their safety trumps what you got going on when it comes to work and things like that. It trumps that. So for her to say the 8th time, and I know mom's got to work. I was at one point a single mother. I understand that. Or whether she's a single mom or have a husband, you have to work. I get that. But the 8th time, now it is their fault. But now you have to take some type of responsibility as well because you keep sitting them there. And when you keep doing the same thing and sitting your child there, you're planting the seed that the mama evidently don't have a problem with it because we keep doing it. She keeps sending her here. We're not changing her because we don't want to change feces up in here. That's not what we do in our daycare. Maybe that's what they're saying.
Mhm.
And she keeps
Right,
picking her up and sending her. So you plant the seed. People, y'all have to
right.
realize new keys don't open old doors. And old doors,
Mm.
you can't do that. You can't say, well, I'm going to do this and change. You have to change. Okay? You have to change. Y'all can't do that. So with that story, the mom, I guess she mad. She should be mad, but she check herself too.
As she should.
And this is
Hmm.
what the lady should have said. You know what, ma'am? I'm sorry. We are mistreating her. Why you keep sending her in? Evidently, we don't want her here. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So both parties are wrong to me, and I'm a mom of
Mhm.
four saying that. Yes,
Mhm.
don't because now that child is like, Mama, at an age. And when I saw the video, the little girl, my heart went out because the mother's behavior, her anger, and then she was grabbing the little girl's clothes. As a
Mhm.
child, when we're children, we think like children. So as a child, she's thinking, what I do? Because mama mad and she grabbing my clothes. So what did I do? She don't have the mental understanding or wit to know. Mama mad at them. No, she like, what did I do? You get what I'm saying? That baby is
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
oh, mama mad. What I do? No, mama ain't mad at you, but her behavior came off as I'm mad at everybody up in here, which I get it and I understand it. But you put that baby in the car, call a family member, come up here,
Hmm.
call the police,
Hmm.
and then go back in there. But don't let her see
Right.
that because the child don't know,
Right.
don't
Right.
understand. Yeah, so that was
Hmm.
a good one. I like that. So that's my take on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So that story was something. Now the second story, well, first before I go into the second story, we wish them all well with that situation,
Absolutely.
because we are both strong advocates for the kids. So we definitely
Yeah.
wish them well moving forward. Now going into my second story is about Chris Brown and the $1,000 to take a picture with him. First of all, I think it was genius. That's
I
number
think it was
one,
genius
right?
too.
Let
I
me
wish
tell you.
that. I'm lucky if I get $10, when I do a conference and stuff, that so people take a picture. But I love it because there he's creating memories. All these millennials and even some of Gen Xers love Chris Brown, and he's
Mhm.
posing with them how they want it. You got some baby shower poses, some jail poses, some prom poses. They doing
But
all
he
these.
made, but you know what I loved about that? I
I
love
love
that
it.
he made each one of them feel special.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? Because they could have paid their $1,000 and be felt and been made feel really really bad. You know,
yeah,
or he could have took their thousand and like I ain't taking no picture with you, anything. But he made them feel so special, and and I thought that was okay. Now people, he's been getting a lot of backlash because of the cost and all of that. But at the end of the day, all these folks is going to like you go into these concerts, right? And I seen it with a number of shows, R&B shows, comedy shows, where you pay extra money on a ticket
hmm
to have a meet and greet with these artists in the back, right? They
hmm
pay an extra, like some of the people was charging, I think, extra $200-$300, and you meet the artists in the back, and you're able to take pictures or whatever. But half the time, they not even. The line is so long, they can't even take the picture,
yeah,
or something else comes up. You know what I mean? And things happen, and they're not able to, I
yeah,
guess, meet and greet with that particular artist. I
exactly.
think what it is a lot of people was mad because Chris did it, thought of it, did it, and was able to monetize from it. And because he put such a high ticket on it, he picked his audience.
Yes,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? He picked
I
his
believe in
audience. So
that.
people can say what they want to say, but Chris
Yeah.
Brown was genius with that. Just
Sure
like the
will.
young lady that's on there, B Simone, that's on Instagram. I don't know if you're aware of this, Dr. Candace. She has a private Instagram account and she charges $10 a month to
To join
subscribe
her.
to it.
Oh,
To subscribe to her
okay,
private IG page.
okay, okay.
And
I think
folks is paying it.
you know
And folks is
this.
paying it.
This
Genius.
it is. This is my take on all that, especially this Chris Brown situation. The people that is talking about it,
Mhm.
people that's on your level won't talk about it. People that have the mindset you got, they don't see nothing wrong with that. So, and I'm gonna say this on all things. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this on the mental health minute. And so I'm not saying some people are better than others. I'm saying growth, that mental growth. People that see that this is something that's creating memories, and this is something that people want to do, and he created, memories for these people, and he created his own audience, and this is a genius thing. The people that's looking down on it is saying, why would he do that? You can't. That's because you can't even understand it. You can't
Mhm.
understand it. People that's
Mhm.
on your level, they ain't gonna criticize it. People that's not on your level, they always got something to say.
Always. Always.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I want you all to take a step back and think about it when you're doing it with other artists.
that's right.
You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Because y'all doing it. Y'all doing it.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Y'all doing it. So think about it
And
when you're doing the
then
same thing.
I just thought about something.
Hmm.
It's a safety component to that as well. If he did
Hello.
free, you can imagine the riffraff he gonna get up in there. When you pay $1,000, let me just say now, come on now, this is mental health minute. We're gonna be real on here. We real doctors. This is me therapy. When you pay $1,000, you gonna stand in that line and shut up. You gonna be standing just like this. Girl, you was standing in that line like you at the DMV. Be quiet if you ain't gonna get your license. You gonna stand in that line like you about to take a test because you paid $1,000, so it hit different. You know when you pay for something, it hit different. Now when
When
it's
you pay,
free,
well, you don't care.
you twerking, you got your mama on the phone, you taking pictures, you doing all types of stuff. But when you pay $1,000 and you don't want these people to put you out, you standing there with your purse like this. So I don't blame Chris.
Hold on to your bag.
Okay? What a lie, Dr. T. What a lie.
Look, it ain't no lie. You telling the truth. Because you
So
gonna hold your bag. You ain't doing all that. You gonna do
you
what you
ain't doing
gotta
it.
do.
You suited and
You gonna
booted.
make it make sense. You gonna
Right?
make it make sense,
There
okay?
you go. But when it's
I'm
free, you acting like girl. What Chris did, he did. What I do, that's why I know I'm expensive. That's right. You know why? Because when people pay for something, they appreciate it
Mhm.
more. But when it's free, a lot of clowns show up. And when a lot of clowns show up, they gonna turn your whole event into a damn circus. Come on now.
Yeah, a whole circus.
So
A
Chris
whole
said,
circus juggling act.
okay, Chris was like, I don't want no clowns, so I'm gonna charge because I'm gonna do this because a certain type of mindset, certain type of quality
Mhm.
people, or certain type of people. Even Rick Raff have thousands of dollars as well, but
Right.
you gonna stand in
They
line.
gonna think Riff Raff thinks, right? Riff Raff will think.
Yeah,
I ain't spending all that.
and then you ain't gonna get too out of pocket because his security can throw you out and ain't no refunds. You feel what I'm putting down?
Hmm.
So when you
Hmm.
stand still, you like, ooh, let me stand still because I paid my
Hmm.
1,000. I ain't trying to get thrown out. But when it's
Right.
free, girl, they gonna turn it into a circus. So I don't blame Chris.
Right. But the thing is, people save their money. Thanks, D. Thanks for the super sticker.
Thank you.
People save their money. People will save their money for the things that
Yeah,
they want to do. You
absolutely.
know what I mean? And that's what we need to be mindful of. That they will save. Like, these folks probably saved all the pandemic, waiting for an opportunity. Now, back in the day, we would hold savings accounts to go to the record store, which no longer exists, to go
Yes.
buy records and things like that. You know what I mean? I remember I got in trouble for standing in a long line to go see LL Cool J, me and my cousin. And granted, it was free 99. It was free 99, but we both bought records when we was there. You know what I mean? So was it really free? We took all our allowance, took our whole $10 allowance, and went downtown.
That's right.
And we must have was about 10 years, we might have been about 10, 11 years old. We wasn't old enough to be. We was able to go run in the streets at 10 and 11 years old, which nowadays you can't recommend that to these kids because they
Yeah,
can't do
right.
that. Like we used to run, they can't run. But I just
Hmm.
remember we was down there. We must have was about 10 years old, standing in that damn line for LL, paying our money and doing what we got to do.
There you
And we got so much trouble. Girl, we supposed to be at choir rehearsal.
go. I can't.
We got in so much trouble when we got to church. They was like, "Don't y'all know y'all was supposed to be here?" By the time we got to choir rehearsal, it was over. I was like, "We took pictures with LL Cool J." Let me tell y'all, we had to wait for the film to get developed before anybody could see the pictures.
I love
Girl,
it.
the 80s was wonderful.
Yes, I wish we could go back. Wasn't it wonderful? Those were amazing
Girl,
times.
girl.
Amazing, amazing times. I wish we can go back.
Yes,
That's
I wish we
amazing.
could too. I
I
wish we
love
could
that
too,
story.
girl.
I love that. You say we got in
That
trouble.
was so funny. Yeah, girl, we got so in trouble, so in trouble. And so for my last bit for for the tea with Tyra, I want to promote Melanin Minds.
Yes.
Melanin Minds is an organization founded by two awesome young ladies, Legina and Mel, and they're having their mental health conference this weekend in Houston, Texas. They have a live component as well as a live component as well as a virtual component to their conference. Their conference will focus on relationships, nutrition, aligning, mindset shifting, holistic healing. They're going to have a number of question and answer panels as well as hands-on workshops. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. We were given a code that we can give to the audience if anybody was interested in attending their virtual conference if you weren't able to attend. Tonight, the kickoff starts at they're actually having a happy hour at
Oh,
6 p.m. in Houston, Texas. And then tomorrow starts the rest of the conference. So these young ladies,
Okay.
they are doing the darn thing. They have their own collective brands. Legina's brand is the Us Space, and Mel's brand is Womi. So definitely check these young ladies out on Instagram. You can follow them at underscore melanin minds. I tell you, they remind
Great.
me of me and you, Dr. Candace.
I love it. Yes,
Yes,
I
they
love
remind
it.
me of us.
They do. Yes, beautiful young women. They just doing their thing. I love it. Yes, so I'm
Yes.
definitely going to attend virtually because I ain't in
Yes,
Houston, of course.
I got virtually too. So I'll definitely make sure I'll put the code in the comments so everybody knows how to get your tickets to attend the conference virtually
Because
today. So
it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I really am. Yes, your tea time today was amazing. I love it. I love it. Is that all
yes,
we
yes. That's all we got. So I'm gonna run our first commercial break.
have? Yes, I am so happy you played that commercial because starting in either the end of September or October, I will be teaching yoga classes. I'm going to start very small. They will be on Zoom, of course, and I'm going to teach 10 to 15-minute yoga sessions for beginners. I am
Well,
so
I'm
excited.
coming.
Yes, yoga
I
has
will
changed
be
my
there.
life. Please come. Please. I want everyone to join. And it's just 10 to 15 minutes because it's for beginners. Because I don't want y'all to be in there no 30 minutes or no hour because you'll probably fall asleep. That's how relaxing and amazing it is. So 10 to 15 minutes with me. And let me just show you the basics on how to breathe and stretch and get that body moving. It's amazing. So I'm so happy to announce that. Now, we're going to get into our topic today. And I want to thank everyone for joining myself and Dr. Tyra today on the Mental Health Minute. Thank you so much for being here. Thank everyone. So, today our topic is mental health labeling. So, we're just going to get into that and what it looked like, what it is, what it's not, and what we can do about it if something needs to be done about it. So, for my first question, Dr. T, what is mental health labeling? I'm pretty sure the audience want to know, and then after you say it, I'm pretty sure they're familiar with it. But what is mental health labeling?
Okay, so what a label in mental health is a psychiatric label to describe mental health disorders associated with effective help seeking choices and is promoted in community awareness initiatives designed to improve help seeking, right? Now, when I look at this definition of mental health labeling, it actually has two definitions. Okay. That's the textbook definition, right? From PubMed, right?
Mhm.
Now, we got the other definition, right? Now, the other definition of mental health labeling is when people put a mental health label on themselves that ultimately becomes a stigma,
Yes.
right? And so that's something that we do a lot of trying to avoid happening, right? Because people at some point, when they have a stigma placed upon them, they use that as a crutch. And they constantly say that and use that as a means of, how can I put it? An excuse for everything that they do, an excuse for their behaviors. We don't do that here. We don't make excuses for our behaviors. We need to be mindful of that. So with mental health labeling, we have the textbook version and we have the other version of that definition. What would you have to say about that, Dr. Candace?
I totally agree with you, especially when Dr. Tyra read the textbook version. That is exactly what it is. However, she is right as well with the realistic part of it, the realistic that we do every day. So I'm calling it the realistic version of it, or how we label ourselves, or how we allow of others to label us. Meaning, when we are given a title of something that is wrong with us, whether it be a disease, a disorder, or a syndrome, there all three of those mean different things, and I will go over that as well. a lot of times we can hold on to that as a crutch. So it can be us that label ourselves and we use it as a crutch, such as what Dr. Tyra explained. And then sometimes others label us and we are placed in a box where we don't want to be. My next question, so that's my take on that. Now, my next question is, do we need the labeling? Do we need the labeling? What do you think, Dr. Tyra?
I'm going to say I don't think we need the labeling. We need more the diagnosing.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. We don't need
Okay.
labeling. We need diagnosing. And what I mean by that is, right, with so many people putting labels on people, right? And, basically you go to a doctor and the doctor, the first thing they say, oh, well, you have anxiety. But then you find yourself not having issues with anxiety. You have issues with other things, right? And so, with that being said, just being able to doing some research, meeting with the doctor, having a conversation, and letting them know everything that is actually happening, right? And doing things to help you to overcome that, so that it does not become a label. Because the thing is, a lot of people will not will. Okay, so a lot of people when they how can I put it? I'm trying to you find the right words to put this. Some people like to live in pity parties. I can't sugarcoat it no more.
You're right.
To the
Yeah.
point where I need to find something so people can make a excuse for me to behave the way I behave. Right. Now, as an anger management specialist, I see this all the time, right? The first thing
Mhm.
people with anger say, because the world has labeled them as having anger episodes of rage, they allow that diagnosis that was given to them to define them.
Absolutely.
Don't let nothing define you. You got to beat the odds and change it around. And that is a part of the labeling that happens. What I mean by diagnosing, get a proper diagnosis for what's going on. Sometimes we do have to seek second and third opinions just to get the diagnosis and the status that we need. So that we can be able to get the help that we need in regards to our mental health, our physical health. What do you have to say about that, Dr. Candace? I know I
Absolutely.
was a little off,
Oh, no,
like
perfect.
um,
That was beautifully said. Perfect. And I agree with you. I like how you said we don't need the label, we need diagnoses. So, for the sake of this, for Mental Health Minute, we're going to change that. It's no more labeling. Hopefully, we can change the world. It's no more labeling. We call it a diagnosis because she is exactly right. I love that. And do we need it to the question? Yeah, we do need diagnoses. And I'm going to explain why we need diagnoses. You have so many things that are different. Disease and disorders are two different things. If we are not diagnosed properly, how would clinicians such as myself and Dr. Tyra know how to treat? Just like bipolar and borderline personality are two different things. If those are not, quote, labeled, which we changed today, call it a diagnosis, how would we know how to treat? Cancer is different from high blood pressure. Having high cholesterol is different from having high blood pressure. So being labeled is not a good term and a nice term. So I like how Dr. Tyra said, how about we just use the word diagnose? How about we just take the label out and say we need diagnoses, because we do, because they're two different things. A disease, everyone, is curable. A disorder is not, but it's manageable. You see how they're two different things, a disease and a disorder. A disease, it can occur. In most cases, it does not reoccur, but a disorder, it may reoccur. So they're totally two different things. You have malaria, that's a disease, and such as having the coronavirus. However, diabetes and hypertension is a disorder. So when we use the term labeling, it's needed, but we just need to change the term. The term is what is baffling and disrespectful and bring that stigma. The term, that word brings the stigma. But if we just use, like Dr. Tyra stated, diagnose. If we use that, it's people can say, okay, I can get on board with that because we do need it because that's how we're able to help. That's how we're able to say, okay, you need this treatment, you need this medication. So I think we do need it. You
Right.
agree with that? Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
totally agree. Because you know what happens? The thing is, the label becomes a part of the person's identity.
Yes.
And
Yes.
my thing is, and it's just like when you think of like, when you think of labels, right? I go immediately into the mindset of the different labels that they put on people. Whether you're, oh, so and so, that fat girl down the street. That so and so, she was a whore. That guy down the street, he sold drugs. It's like don't attach a label to somebody when you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's where I go when I hear, when people with mental health, that may have a mental health issue, may have something going on. They might have that got diagnosed one time and they constantly use that as their they use it as leverage for things that go on in their life. That's number one. But then they put it in their mindset to the point where they believe it. And the thing is, we want to change. We want you to be able to change that. I'm a big advocate of not believing what other people say.
Absolutely. And that was my
Just
next
because
question.
you said it, I don't have to own it.
Right on. Right on. And that was my next question. My next question was, has society made labeling a bad thing? And has the labelee, which is the person that has the diagnosis, made it bad as well?
I'm gonna say society has made labeling bad because when you think about the labels that has been placed upon people, they ain't been good.
No, they
A lot of the
haven't.
labels that has been bad. You know what I mean? And when you think about the derogatory words and names that African Americans have been called over the years, that's a
Hmm.
label, y'all. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's a label. And then when you think about on the second half of your question, you said, did they make it? Are they bad?
And do
That
we,
was
the labelee, the
and
person
then
that has
right,
the
and as
diagnosis.
the labelee, okay, I'm gonna say with the labelee, the problem is basically accepting it and internalizing it. Instead of trying to, say, I'm not, that's not me. So I'm not going with that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I will say it's a 50-50 because some of the people do make it bad on themselves because they accept it,
Yeah, exactly.
instead of rejecting it. And we have to do more rejecting than accepting when it comes to people putting labels and stigmas on us. We got to do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Do you so we're both in agreement that the sometimes the labelee allows whatever that stigma was to define them.
Yes.
Yes, to define them.
Hmm.
And they become that.
Hmm.
And I think
I
that's where
believe
a
they
lot
do.
of the stigma starts. I
Hmm.
know, I know some going to be like, oh, how could you say that? I do. I actually believe that's where a lot of it starts because someone can say that you are, let's just use this word that we don't use anymore. We don't use the word retardation anymore. We don't even write that anymore. No, it's it's disabled now. It's mentally disabled. It's we use things that we totally went away from retardation. So when someone used that even plain or just jokingly saying that about a friend or a family member, like, oh, that was retarded, that and say something is really wrong with that person, that's labeling them. But then they also take on that label and they define themselves as that. And that's where the stigma starts because sometimes you can start behaving in a certain way. Does that make sense?
It
Exactly.
makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, because we see it happen all the time.
We do.
We see it
All
happen all the time with labeling. And the thing is, you don't have to take ownership of something that you don't believe in.
exactly
If you
because
don't
some
believe
words.
it's you, it's not you. If you don't believe it's you don't have to fit the part.
Exactly because words matter. Would you agree?
Yes, a hundred
And they can
percent.
become cliches, and they become cliches, and they become everyday kitchen table talk for some people, and they just use certain words. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you're talking to people or you're around certain your family members, they don't agree with that. It can hurt them
Hmm.
because it's like
Right.
I don't agree with that. That's not my style. I don't agree with that. But
Hmm.
words do matter, and a lot of
Hmm.
people use words that. they don't even know how to use them right. Do you know, like for instance, and I know Dr. Tyra, and I hope the audience y'all will become aware of this today, but I know Dr. Tyra is aware of this. People use the word narcissistic all day. Half of the population don't know what it means.
Girl, girl,
Half, I'm
they
you
don't know what
ladies,
it means, and they giving a whole bunch of definitions for stuff that they don't have no idea.
have no idea. And the word psycho. Don't know what it
That
means. Some
too.
people are calling a man, he's a psycho. No, he's not. He's just really an asshole. You don't know the definition. It's the truth.
Make it fit. Make it
Yeah,
fit.
yeah, right. You don't know the definition. You're labeling people, and you're
Mhm.
not labeling them correctly. Shouldn't be labeling them at all because that's what we're talking
Right.
about. But you're not doing it
Mhm.
correctly. So my question to you, Dr. T, do you think that's doing more harm? Not even using it correctly.
Yeah, it's doing more. I believe it's using a lot more harm because the thing is, when people say that to people, right, give them call themselves diagnosing them because everybody think they a doctor when they go on Google.
I
You know what
know.
I mean? They go on Google, they diagnosing themselves, and they want to come to professionals like you and I and tell us what they are, and it's just like that ain't what I see. You know,
Exactly.
and it's just like when people, they hear a term one time, they run with it, right?
Hmm.
Like we use, for example, narcissists. You telling somebody they a narcissist, they gonna believe they are, and they come to find out
Yeah,
they not because they don't even
yeah,
exhibit none of the traits that is supposed to be a part of that particular diagnosis, right?
exactly.
But because everybody told me I'm one, I guess I am one. No, you're not.
Exactly. Or
And
they,
don't
you're
take
right,
ownership on it.
they start behaving that way.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
start accepting it. And
Hmm.
then it
And
goes back to what she said earlier, Dr. T said earlier, make an excuse of using that for a crutch.
Mhm, mhm. And
Exactly.
I mean, the thing is just like you see these types of things happen all the time.
Hmm.
You see it happen in people's personal lives, you see it happen in business, you see it happening all over the place. But at the end of the day, you have to, I'm gonna say it like this, the energy that you let in is the problem.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that. If you don't mind, Dr. T, let's switch just a minute. You're right. I like how you said that with the energy that you let
Hmm.
in.
Hmm.
We see most often than
Hmm.
none that
Hmm.
people are
Hmm.
allowing and letting certain energy in. And
Hmm.
then they decide at one point, which everyone has the right to decide that they want help and they want to come see people like you and I. And they
Hmm.
decided, okay, I want to invest in myself. But
Right.
investing in yourself, it kind of goes with this conversation as well. When they invest in themselves, they're not fully invested in themselves. They either want half of it, don't want to pay for it, don't want the truth, or half of it. Do you see a lot of that?
Of course. All the time. All the time. And the thing is, I don't know if it's a fear of admitting that I have something wrong, or a fear of admitting that I need help in these areas.
Hmm.
Sometimes people think they have to have a whole audience to get the help that they need,
Exactly.
and they'll, since my friend doing it, I'm gonna do it.
Hmm.
Well, if your friend is doing something illegal, you gonna do that too?
Hmm.
That you're gonna go to jail for? I think, when it comes to a lot of things, a lot of people don't have a mind of their own because
Yeah.
they're so focused on what the other person is doing that is becoming a problem.
It is. It is. And I see more people of a certain age and certain stages in their life that is doing that as
Hmm.
well. Of course, a lot
Hmm.
of the younger people are doing it, but I kind of expect that to a certain extent.
Yes.
To a
Hmm.
trained eye, we like know better, do better, and you're not
Hmm.
fully, you haven't grown into or blossomed. But at a certain
Right.
age, I think it's
Hmm.
time that when we invest in ourselves and we say we want more, then we need to do the
Hmm.
work. People will invest in themselves. Oh, I know I see this a lot. People will invest but won't do the work. Then you got people that won't invest and won't do the work. And then you got people that won't invest but they want to do part of the work, but they don't want to
Hmm.
pay for the work. They want to pay for help.
Right.
I find a problem
Right.
with that, especially being a business owner and a clinician. I have a problem
Hmm.
with that. I have a problem where people feel that their mental health is not worth it, or
Right.
they don't know the value of it. So maybe I need to check myself and not say not worth it. Maybe they don't understand the worth. They don't know the value.
hmm But the thing is, a lot of people think that when we use the term mental, that means that, we got to look at the label and the stigma that comes with the word mental.
Hmm.
Before we get to the health part, we have to get to the mental, right? And when
Absolutely.
you think about that word in itself, people have, made people feel built bad about having situations happen in their life that they would have to seek out therapy. You know what I mean? When they hear the word mental, oh, I'm crazy. And it's just like, yo, back it up.
Hmm.
When you think of the word crazy, that's another label when it comes to mental health. And it's just like, and those terms, are the reason why people don't seek the help that they need in regards to getting the therapy, the counseling that they need to help them move forward in their life. But the word that they jump straight to is coach. Oh, I'll
Yes.
get a coach, but I ain't gonna get no therapy. I ain't doing that.
And I'm here to tell you, and both is very good to have.
Yes.
However, if you get a coach first and your mental health is not where it needs to be, ain't nothing that
Mhm.
coach gonna do for you.
Nothing. Let me tell you, I had a branding, the woman that I use for my branding, awesome woman. She had me like in stitches telling me about things that was happening. Now
Mhm.
she's a branding specialist, right? Makes people look good. Okay. She said, girl, these people out here mimicking, saying that they qualify, doing the whole life coaching thing, people going to them thinking that they could tell them their whole life.
Mhm.
And then they all messed up, and now they further messed up. She said, then they come to me as a branding specialist and they want me to fix them. She said,
Mhm.
honey, I can't fix you. You got to go get yourself a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Anybody with PSYCH in front of it is who you need to go see. She said, because I am not the
Yeah.
one. She said, all I can do is make sure that you look good in the media. Make sure your face look good, your hair look good, your outfits is good. Make sure your words is coming to life and that you representing what we writing. She said, I'm
Absolutely.
not the person that can do this, but you went
Mhm.
to this person, and granted, we love coaches, because
Yes.
all of us do coaching as well within our
Absolutely.
practices, right? But at
Absolutely.
the same time, people need to really understand who they're seeking the help from.
Yes.
Know that
I
and go
totally agree.
past them labels. Go past those labels of mental and crazy and psychotic and all of the terms that
Yes.
people label as a negative tone to what we do. It shouldn't
Absolutely.
be negative. But that's again why we keep saying we have to break the stigma.
We have to, and I think it starts with us. It's when I say us as an individual. It's an
hmm
individual thing.
hmm
It's not,
Right.
some people would say, well, should there be a community thing? How that's going? We've tried, and how that's working out. It's not. It starts an individual thing. Everybody is
Mhm.
responsible for themselves, and we have to know. Well, I'm not going to label myself. Don't put me in a box. Even if you have a disease, a disorder, or mental health, mental illness, whatever it may be, that's something that is a part of you, but it's not you, and it shouldn't define you. It should not define you. Do we have any
hmm
comments?
Yes. D said, like, people go to the hairdresser and tell them everything. Girl.
Yes.
So it's so funny. It's so funny, that D said that because I think about my hairdresser. My stylist actually started referring her clients to me.
That was a good
I'm
idea.
here to do your hair. I don't want to hear your problems. Just
Hmm.
that ain't what I'm doing. I'm not giving no advice. I'm sorry. Sorry, but not sorry.
Right.
And all I can do is start laughing. I said, look, I understand. Thank you for the business.
Yes. But no, she's right. He or she is right.
hmm
Whoever you see is absolutely right with that. Because
hmm
indeed, you're right.
hmm
They do. The hairdresser hear everything, know all the business. They know all the teeth. The hairdresser,
Yeah,
because
they
that's
know all the tea.
exactly,
hmm
exact. So yeah, we do. We have to break that. And with this topic, what do you think, Dr. Tyra? What is something that people can take away from this? Not label themselves or labeling others. What is something? What is the change? that we can do to not label
One
ourselves
change,
and label others.
one thing is don't take ownership over other people what other people say to you. You know what I mean? Being able to identify within yourself who you are and knowing who you are and being able to say, I'm not owning that, whatever it is, whatever term that they use for you, and being say, I'm going to be a, I am beautiful, I am loved. Being able to say affirmations to yourself, and believe in them, because the thing is, you don't want if you don't want a negative label a part of your identity, you don't have to have it. I don't want
Absolutely.
no negative label to my identity, and I'm not going to own it and say that's who I am because I'm not.
Absolutely. That's right.
How about you, Dr. Candace?
Mine is watch your words. Watch your words. I
Mm.
encourage everyone to watch their words and speaking to yourself. I mean, it starts with self. Before I can tell you or ask you to watch your words with others, watch them with yourself first. Watch how you speak to you. Watch, because we cannot control what pops in our mind. A lot of us deal and battle with mental chatter. So you're going to stay up all night or all day or however you do it, and your brain is just going and going and going. You cannot control that, but you can control how you respond to it. Identify it. So watch your words or how you talk to yourself if you do not want to be labeled or start labeling people. So watch your words. The next one is be true to you. Be true to you. We are all amazing human beings and we are multi talented with gifts and everything. So we cannot be labeled and just say, I'm place you in this box and you're just this. This is what you have and this is where you need to be. There are people which we all know. Stevie Wonder, for instance, can't see nothing but can play every instrument. So he didn't let the blindness define him. Okay. The next one is don't allow others to define you. Don't define yourself. That goes with number one. But don't allow others to define you, whether it's clinicians like myself and Dr. Tyra or other doctors or your primary care. They say you have one thing. Of course, do the work, take your medicine, do whatever it is to do, to get to whatever prognosis you are trying to overcome, whatever you're trying to do. But don't let it define you. Again, it is a part of you. It is not you. It's something you have, not something that you are. It's not who you are. It's something that you have. My next one is you have to know you are a human being and you are part of many things. That's just a part of you. You are a part of many things. You see the word a part, a group of things, We are puzzles. So if you have diabetes, depression, anxiety, PTSD, trauma, high blood pressure, whatever it may be, it's a part of you. It is not who you are. You are a beautiful puzzle. So those are my tips on how not to be labeled and also label yourself. You're a human being. You have a name. Go by that, not by your diagnosis, disorder, or syndrome. Don't go by that. That is a part of you. So we had something from Trista.
Yes, Trista says self and I have decided we are going to turn the corner and start back getting help. And that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I think that is
Awesome.
beautiful. I do. I
That
think
is
that's a beautiful
awesome.
idea. You know
Yep.
what's beautiful? When you can say those words.
Hmm.
It's it's
Yeah.
it's it's two beautiful words. It's two a lot of things that are simple to me that means the
Hmm.
most to me. When you can say, especially myself, I need help. Those three words.
Hmm.
When a person can say that, that's growth. Right there is growth. Right there is almost where you want to be because you can say those words. Another thing that's very important is when you know why your purpose. It's two dates I tell everybody they should know. The people that come to me. Your date of birth and why you were born. Your purpose. Those are two dates that's important. All the other dates, oh, who cares? Whatever. But
Hmm.
your date of birth and why you was born, your purpose. And to say, I
Hmm.
need help. I need help. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. I love that. I love that. What you think about that, Dr. Tyra? When someone can
I
say, I
think
need,
that's yeah, I think that's good because the thing is, a lot of people don't know
yeah.
their work. They don't know when they don't know what their purpose is,
And then they don't know how to
and
ask. Yeah.
right, right,
Have you
and that's a problem.
have you ever
Have I
asked?
ever asked?
Have you ever
I
said, I
have.
need help? I know I have.
Yeah, my thing is, you have to be able to say you need help for something. The thing is no I in team, and everybody needs help for something along the way. Whether it's something for work, whether it's something for your business, whether it's something at home. Everybody needs help for something. And I granted some of us, and I'm a witness because I'm a person that do it. I thought if you take it too long to do what I asked you to do, I do it myself because I could do it. And just go ahead and get it done. But at times, yeah, we do ask for help and being able to say, I need help, and being able to know what your purpose is,
That's
because
right.
some people still don't know their purpose.
That's right. And that's okay. It takes a
Mhm.
minute. It takes some is longer than
Mhm.
others. Some is longer than I know people every day. I know people personally that don't
Mhm.
know their purpose. That's
Mhm.
okay. But when you
Yep.
do, when you find it, live
Mhm.
in it. Don't run from it. Don't run from it. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. This was
Mhm.
a great show. This was
This
amazing.
was.
Yes. Do you have anything else, Dr. Tyra, you want to add?
I don't have anything else to add. How about yourself?
Don't. I just want to thank the audience for joining us today. And I want to tell the audience that don't label yourself, don't allow others to label you. And I wish all y'all good mental health.
Yes, definitely. We gotta wish them all good mental health, and yes, and a good week.
Yes. I miss y'all.
Yes.
A good week. Let's have that. A good weekend. Today is Friday.
Today is Friday. Oh my goodness, girl. You got all things relationships tonight?
Yes, I have it tonight at 6:30. All things relationships. We're coming in and we're having a good show. I had mixed up the shows, but I'm back. I'm back on track. I'm human.
All
See, I
right. Let me run it.
apologize.
Let me run our commercial.
Yay!
Awesome. 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 Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So
You.
everyone, we want to thank you all for joining us today. We want you all to have an awesome week, awesome weekend, and we will talk to you all next week.
Yes.
Have a
Bye,
good week.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.